I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 197 and the halfway point. Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards. Released in 2000, this game was developed by HAL Laboratory and published by Nintendo. Oh boy, this is a game I played a bit growing up. I don't think I ever had it, but my friend I used to hang out with in the neighborhood did. I don't think I ever beat this one, but I remember it being really fun. It's the only Kirby game I had ever played until The Forgotten Land came out on the Switch a while back. That game's amazing, by the way. Anyway, I know people generally really enjoy Kirby games, so this is kinda exciting. There was this one time where Nintendo made a post saying, "Say hi to Kirby," and I replied saying, "No, Kirby sucks." And I became the main character briefly. There were dozens of people very upset with me, so that was kinda fun. Anyway, let's get into it. When you power the game on, there's a cutscene sort of explaining the story. Some heart planet with these flying fairy things inhabiting it are living happily when suddenly a shroud of darkness covers the sky. One of the fairies takes a crystal from the palace and heads into space with it. The dark creatures chase the fairy, crashing into the crystal and shattering it into many shards. Oh my goodness, just like in the game title. After selecting a new file, it asked if I know how to use Kirby's copy ability. Sure don't. Nah, I do, but I wanted to see what this was. Looks like a weird debug room. We get a new cutscene showing Kirby chilling in a field and the fairy creature crashes into him. Kirby's like, "Hey, you dropped this shard over here." I guess the fairy asks Kirby for help and he agrees. Then they run off into the sunset or something like that. Okay, here we go. Into level 1, Pop Star. It's more like World 1 really. You select levels with using this crayon. So Kirby can swallow enemies and absorb their powers. Taking in the fire enemy gives fire. Kirby can dash around and burn things. Or you can swallow the knight and have Kirby throw a chunk of himself as a boomerang. The coolest part of this game though is if you eject a power, you can throw it at a different enemy to combine the two. This combines the spike and boomerang power-ups to create, I don't know, it's kinda like Kirby's a claptrap or something. A bit further past those guys and there was a crystal shard floating in the air. I'll be taking that. There are 3 of these in each level. Here's some house with a boss inside. The claptrap thingy just insta-kills it. That was free. Alright, a bit past here and a cutscene activated. Here's Waddle Dee finding one of the shards. He thinks it's so cool and shiny. Little does he know, one of those dark creatures is lurking and it possesses him. Kirby's gotta save the day. Holy crap, Waddle Dee threw me! This model of him with the giant eyeball is kinda creepy, not gonna lie. This fight isn't much of a challenge with this power-up though. We see a brief cutscene of the dark spirit thing being exorcised and Waddle Dee agrees to join us on our quest. After finishing a level, there's this weird picnic blanket thing where Kirby twists left and right. You stop him, then he swivels his arms back and forth. Basically, you're trying to jump on one of these items. Your health persists between stages, so it's not a bad thing to get. I swear, most of the fun in this back in the day was just trying different combinations of powers. Here's rock and fire. Turns Kirby into a turret. It's okay, but because you can't move, it's not that good. It's not just mixing either. You can combine 2 of the same ones. 2 rocks makes Kirby into an unstoppable force. Like, none of the enemies can touch me like this. It's a bit too slow for my taste though. Bomb and rock makes Kirby throw dynamite. Oh yeah, I guess there's a bomb power-up too, forgot to mention that. Don't mind me, just climbing this tree while finding every possible way to lose my power-ups. I'm just trying to experiment, come on. The platforming in this has been very easy so far. Waddle Dee is pushing us along these ropes, and this is a good time to show off Kirby's floating ability. He can keep it going for quite a long time in this game. I'm used to Smash Bros where it's not that long. If you encounter a boss with no power-up equipped, there will still be a way to kill it. The basic enemies don't give any power-ups and you can just launch them at the bad guys. It's just as effective. I swear, there aren't this many cutscenes later on, but we get one with this painter person. Apparently her name is Adeline and she likes the crystal shards too. Little does she know, her painting is going to corrupt her. This fight works by her drawing various creatures on the canvas that come to life and attack. Fortunately, they're all small enough for Kirby to just suck them up. After killing 5 of those things, she draws a bigger creature that can't be swallowed. Big flaw with that though. It occasionally spits out an ice cube which we can suck up. How foolish. And finally, she draws a floating eyeball creature that resembles the dark energy things we've been seeing. It also drops smaller eyes that we can retaliate with. We've foiled all her plans and Adeline is furious. She charges at Kirby, but he's just that strong. She gets blasted away, dropping the crystal shard behind. There's a brief cutscene with Adeline coming to her senses, and we recruit her on the journey as well. Aw man, double fire makes you go so fast. At this point, I decided I would just go ahead and get all shards in this run. I had missed one in the first stage, so I went back. The first instance of a power-up being required. You need bomb to break this barrier here. Sneaky devs. Double bomb power-up? Kirby just became a surface-to-air missile launcher. Oh yeah, there's these little stars scattered throughout the levels. When you get one, the meter at the bottom increases. Fill it up and you get an extra life. How cool! If you haven't been able to tell yet, the game is completely, I guess you'd call it 2.5D. Even these vast castle environments have a set path you go along. Here's an annoying thing. I can't get this shard with the boomerang. I think the devs wanted to force you to replay levels because if you didn't come in with the right power, too bad. Actually, I take that back. There was another green power in the next room, and I had the gigantic boomerang Kirby. Exactly what I needed to break this thing. Look at Kirby go! He's climbing the chain. What a guy. Why is Kirby climbing up this castle anyway? Well, his old buddy King DDD is up there. He's feeling a bit greedy though and wants to keep the crystal shard for himself. However, one of those dark spirits shows up and corrupts him. Time to fight. It starts out normal enough. DDD is running around trying to bop Kirby on the head with a hammer. Too bad I've harnessed the power of the sun. The second phase has the eye completely taking control. DDD is merely floating unconsciously in the air and dark energy's being shot out. I took him down with ease, and even though he and Kirby are typically enemies, Waddle Dee convinces him to come along. What a guy. Alright, here we are, the boss of level 1. We're going up against Wispy Woods itself. It starts with these little saplings spawning running around in a circle. They need to be hit twice to die. The main tree also spits out dangerous apples occasionally. After destroying all its children, it goes into an enrage phase and launches apples all over the place. Then it sends out 4 roots to try and kill Kirby. Just blast the roots and slowly chip its health down. Before I knew it, old Wispy Woods was toast. We see a brief cutscene of the crystal shard emanating. It then opens a rift to space, presumably revealing the next level we need to go to. And yeah, this is our next destination, Rockstar. The first area here is an arid desert. I launched myself forward and... oh, it ran out like the frame before I touched that enemy. My first death. Your health carries over between levels, so I was still sitting on 1 HP. This gives access to the spike power, which I mixed with fire to turn Kirby into an archer. That one kinda stinks. Double spike, however, is amazing. It's Swiss Army Kirby. It's very similar to the claptrap thing we had before, but way cooler. Rockin' Spike is top tier. Kirby's going so fast, the camera even struggles to keep up. Look, it's fast for this game, okay? Also, the drill acts as a projectile when you end it. I'll take this time to talk about the graphics and audio. The graphics are great. It's like partly 2D, but there are lots of 3D models as well. The game's super colorful and it runs smoothly. I think the HUD at the bottom of the screen takes up a bunch of real estate, but that's okay, I think. The music's great too. I swear, Kirby music is like its own genre. I can hear a song and be like, yep, that's from a Kirby game. Most songs are very fast-paced, and I'd say it's kind of Kirby's identity. These enemies can't be sucked up. They remind me of boos in 2D Mario games because they get super aggressive when you look away. And what's up with these cacti? Did they breed with an alligator or something? Mixing rock and electric power-ups is kinda wild. Just a boulder flinging itself around all over the place. Definitely cool, but it's sure hard to control. The game had been so easy so far, but dang, that pillar killed me in 1 hit. Maybe there's gonna be some challenge here after all. Electric and fire is just wild. Kirby rubs his head and sets it on fire. I don't really see the use of this thing. Oh yeah, this game is a D-pad game, one of the rare ones. The joystick doesn't even function in it. This shard was in a dangerous spot. I don't know, the gameplay's really chill in this. I guess if you're not into platformers, maybe you'd find some of the obstacles tough to overcome. Or if you're bad like me, you'll get crushed and insta-die. I should really stop saying how easy this is. Okay, here's why we picked up all those allies before. We get to have King DDD give us a piggyback ride while he blasts away the walls with his hammer. Also, this is totally just the builder suit from Mario Maker 2. Nintendo stole their own idea. Here he is, just going to town on 2 chicken legs. You know what, buddy? You've earned it. See? I told you there were less cutscenes after World 1. Bet you didn't even know I am already on to level 3 of World 2. That's right, Kirby, you fly up into that dark abyss. Just watch your head on the way down, though. Every level usually has a mini-boss about halfway through. This one is weird. Just 3 fish that are made of 3 triangles each. At least, I think they're fish. Oh my god, that's like the second time my fire ran out the frame before I touched an enemy. I'm getting scammed so hard here. These pincer enemies probably scared the heck out of me as a kid. They're kinda scary now, to be honest. This was the first water section of the game. The controls are about what you'd expect. Pressing the jump button makes Kirby ascend a bit, just like in a 2D Mario game. What wasn't intuitive is how high the death plane is for this pit. I could still see Kirby, but it said I died anyway. I don't think that's very fair. After avoiding those weird triangle fish and falling spine bones, I got the 3rd crystal shard and got the heck out of there. This next level began with a witch flying in the background, along with a monumentally sized diamond ascending out of the desert sand. If she can summon something like that, she should be the final boss. This part was cool, climbing up these moving platforms. Even though that was an absolute garbage death, no way I got squished there. Adeline was in this room, but it was dark. Not sure what that's about. And then there were these labeled buttons in the next room. What the heck's going on here? Okay, here's some pretty cool platforming. I guess the fact that Kirby can float so much makes a lot of it trivial though. Obviously, I was missing a crystal shard after finishing the level. It was from that dark area with Adeline and the switches. I had to go out to another level, get bomb and electricity, which turns Kirby into a light bulb. This revealed that she had painted the order of the buttons on the wall. Why couldn't she just tell me the code? Oh well. It's time for the second boss of the game. It's kind of a weird one. You're on a circular elevator and this red gem is moving around, trying to blast you with a beam. After that, a green gem shows up and they both start flipping around and around. This one is admittedly a bit harder to dodge. And finally, a blue gem shows up and they do a different pattern of attack with the beams. Once at the top, surprise! The gems themselves are the boss. Yeah, it's kind of weird. They move around in the circle and do a few different attacks. It was quite frustrating beating this with Light Bulb Kirby. Have to get dangerously close to deal damage. Yeah, okay, let's try that again. So the way this fight is supposed to go is you suck up these colored molecule structure thingies that spawn. If you hit the gem of the same color, it deals double damage. It's a varied fight, and it's easy to brute force through if you have full HP. They just go into the center and explode once they're dead, revealing a crystal shard. We see a cutscene with the crew struggling to get through the desert. Kirby seems to be doing the worst though. But then, he imagined his friends are food. Oh my god, Kirby, don't eat them! Oh, wait. Adeline is just painting food for them to eat, I see. That's convenient. The crystal shard emanates to reveal a portal to the next level, Aqua Star. One of the coolest power-up combos is fire and boomerang. This gives him this flaming sword, and it just looks awesome. It's so powerful that it stays on fire even when it's underwater. Maybe it's like a grease fire. I don't know, that would work, wouldn't it? I don't really know the answer to that. This world has these green orbs that launch Kirby while he destroys everything in his path. Also, there's someone dancing with maracas in the background. I mixed rock and ice here to get whatever that thing they slide in curling is. Who came up with these ideas, honestly? Then I mixed ice and bomb to make Kirby into an exploding snowman? This is super weird. Adeline sometimes helps in levels by drawing food to heal us. If you're already at full health, she'll just draw a 1-up. Oh shoot, the crabs are guarding one of the shards. You can see that panel blocking it is brown and red. This is telling you that you need fire and rock to break it, which I had to exit the level and go find in a previous one. Waddle Dee is here with a makeshift raft going down the river. This seems incredibly dangerous. No idea how they're making it jump either. Making a leap of faith down this waterfall gave me yet another crystal shard. Yeah, I think we all saw this outcome happening. What was Waddle Dee thinking? Okay, I don't know how rare these are, but there was a lollipop just chilling here that made Kirby invincible. It's just like star power in a Mario game. He was running super fast too. We're here at the beach and aw man, we gotta kill the maracas dancer. They never did anything wrong. This area is the first instance of partial water too. It's what you'd expect. Water physics when you're inside, then you can jump out as you please. Look, the physics and obstacles in this game are quite simple. I'm used to bananas Kaizo Mario levels, but this stuff is still fun too. This hole here is classic devs hiding a crystal shard. Oh wait, it's just a tomato. What the heck? Why is this even here? Cool animation on the rock being blasted up though. King DDD with the yeet over to the next section. He thinks he's playing Ribbit King. Okay, this was some garbage. I killed the mini-boss, but the hole to the next room spawned under me. I can't get that crystal shard. And in the next room, it doesn't even let me go back to get it. Oh wait, it does, but the crystal shard despawned. Amazing. Just fantastic. Oh well. There was a power-up gate for Bomb and Boomerang for the next one anyway, so I had to leave to get that. This has Kirby throwing a shuriken that explodes. It's hard to aim because it kinda just teleports. Or maybe it was Rock Boomerang? Well, this makes Kirby descend down just like in Smash Bros, except he turns into a raccoon thing. Not sure what it's supposed to be. Okay, actually it turns you into a bunch of different things. There's the raccoon thing, sure, but there's also a fish, a weird blob-like creature, and even this hamster. This is the one we're after. I guess Kirby can just infinitely wall jump when he's this hamster. Not the easiest shard to get. The final stage before the boss, and we've got a vertical water shaft. And I'm dead. The camera isn't doing too many favors here. There are water jets in this room. If you're not careful, no crystal shard for you. In this area, the water jet is constant as you go through this maze-like area. It's pretty cool. But again, if you miss the shard, it's gone forever. This time, not so fortunate to be able to reset it. And finally, we've got the water jet while dodging both boulders and spiky dudes. For a water level, this is honestly pretty sick. 2D Mario team, take notes. Time for this level's boss. We've got a killer whale that spits out various things like skulls and fish at me. Once it reaches the back wall, it starts going ballistic, doing flips all over the place. Kirby can't swim nearly fast enough to dodge this stuff. So unfair. After a full cycle through the area, I took him down. Or so I thought. Once the health bar is depleted, the area completely starts falling apart. It scrolls to have Kirby swimming up a narrow shaft. And then the second health bar. That's right, there's a phase 2. This time, the whale swims up the shaft alongside Kirby, occasionally spitting out torpedoes? Where did those come from? Every so often, it dashes up the screen and falls down in the background. This repeats until either the whale or Kirby are dead. This time, it was me. But then on the next attempt, it was I who was victorious. Give me that crystal shard, buddy. We see a cutscene with Kirby and the gang relaxing on the beach. For whatever reason, Kirby decides to throw a rock into a gigantic wave approaching. He gets completely wiped out, only to discover his friends ditched him to go to the next world. We're on to Neostar. Apparently this is the jungle-themed world, where someone has set these traps. That didn't look like anything bad would happen. Or you would accidentally stumble upon a trap with a crystal shard underneath. So it goes both ways, you know? And here we can see the Tarzan inspiration. Or maybe Donkey Kong. Maybe that would make more sense. The next stage immediately has Kirby falling in a cave. Wow, how lucky to just stumble upon the shard like that. Aw geez, Waddle Dee has us in this sketchy minecart. Maybe we should have actually just left him behind in World 1. This part's pretty fun. It's nice when the game picks up the pace, you know? It inevitably ends with us getting launched into the abyss. Waddle Dee is nowhere to be seen. Hopefully he's okay. The mini-boss here is just a ton of little blue blobs. Having the boomerang is S tier here. Just absolute devastation. Ugh, one of those power-up gates at the end of the level, and this one was quite long. Definitely didn't die twice bringing these here either. Nope, definitely didn't happen. The next level was like going through a mine or something? Why is Adeline drawing an umbrella for me? And why does the next screen have like 50 blocks on it? Oh god, it wants me to make an umbrella out of these blocks. This is the original Squid Game. Seriously though, how do you turn this into a dang umbrella? That's such a complicated thing to make. I accidentally drew one of those things you detonate TNT with. Okay, this is honestly a pretty creative idea. Maybe they could have asked for something easier and then went to an umbrella? I don't know, seems like a drastic spike in difficulty. Aw, how cool. The rocks here spell out Kirby. I wonder if he noticed. Now we're inside of a volcano. Look at this movement, man. Kirby has some high-level gameplay for sure. Our buddy King DDD is back, just smashing columns with his hammer. He's very lucky those weren't load-bearing. Okay, so there's this wall of lava chasing us. I mean, Kirby's way faster than it is, but still, kinda scary. Of course, can't have a volcano level without the iconic escaping through the top as the lava chases you up. Well, you're supposed to escape. Getting crushed was not part of the plan. Time for this level's boss, a blarg? It does this various attack pattern, sending out lava with these columns that manipulate the rocks you can stand on. I think there are 3 in total. Between attacks, these embers rise from the lava and you spit those into the columns to deal damage. Once its health is gone, that's right, phase 2. The blarg chases Kirby all the way to the right edge of the screen. It melts to go under the floor to the other side. From here, these firebird things come out and that's how we deal damage. Okay, no idea how I'm supposed to avoid that though. It took up the entire screen. That's so unfair. Oh, apparently it didn't take up the whole screen. There's a small safe spot under its mouth. Just repeat those 2 attacks until it's gone. Another world down. We get a cutscene with Kirby and friends standing high on top of the rocks. The volcano erupts, which kinda ruins the vibe. They narrowly escape using the power of the crystal shard. Kirby has to suck up Waddle Dee. That was close. We're moving on to Shiver Star. We're this far into the game and still discovering new power-up combos. Bomb Spike turns you into a spiky mine of doom. And as you may have guessed, Shiver Star is going to have some snow and ice levels. Oh yeah, I missed a shard in that last world. Fire and ice turns you into a melting ice cube. I don't see how that's useful. However, it definitely is useful to have this little stump here. Man, they really overdid it with these power-up checks. I think they wanted to force the player to experiment, but they're going to do that anyway because it's fun, you know? Maybe they just didn't trust in their game design enough? I don't know. We've got Kirby climbing ladders, or just floating past them. There's not much of a reason for Kirby to have the ability to climb if you think about it. Aw geez, Waddle Dee's got me going on one of his wacky adventures again. Really? A sled with no protection? They probably saw some crazy stuff when they went through this igloo. We'll never know what was in there. Like clockwork, we crash horrifically and Kirby gets locked in this other igloo with Waddle Dee just chilling outside, I guess. I really dislike how if you leave the room without grabbing the shard, it isn't there when you go back to it. They probably just never considered a player would leave without taking the shard, but still, I'm allowed to criticize it. Even worse, after resetting the level and killing the boss again, I learned there was a power-up check to get the shard. Why? There were these weird worm things pushing boulders after that fight. Looks more like a dodecahedron to me. I guess Kirby is just going to get launched into space now. I'll admit, they keep getting more and more creative with the level themes in this. Oh, I see, he goes above the clouds. Well, that's neat. Hey, it's that witch again. What's she up to? The green launcher ball things are rotating now. That's it. I'm settling on Donkey Kong as inspiration for this game. Yeah, it happened again. I now know it didn't matter though. There was a power-up check for that one anyway. I needed Spike and Electric to break the box. This turns Kirby into a lightning rod, and conveniently makes this mini-boss completely free. This next level is giving me vibes of an abandoned mall, or in the year 2025, most malls in America. Okay, never mind, I don't remember any elevators like this in the mall. Definitely never saw a weird creature with a manhole cover on its head blowing bubbles either. Honestly, I don't know what this place is supposed to be. Some kind of toy factory, maybe? Except the toys are all evil? Aw, Adeline is going to draw us another picture. Is that a butt? Maybe it's a peach. Nah, it's totally a butt. I had to select the switches corresponding to the colors of the items. Why in the world is that last one orange? It looked like a cake to me. I won't question it. Now there's all these falling bookshelves trying to kill me. And an aquarium where there are frogs hiding in the rocks trying to eat me? Seriously, what is up with this place? Okay, it's definitely a mall. We're in Circuit City now, and this is where they have all the TVs. The final level in this world is some kind of factory setting. King DDD has got our back though. Or maybe we have his, literally. This time, he's not the only one with a hammer here. This place is made of hammers. Are those vats back there creating all the enemies we've been running into? What's going on here? This part reminds me of that one level in Donut Plains in Super Mario World. You know the one. I blame that death on it being too hard to see the cannons being shot back there. This death? I lagged. Yeah, that's it. There's electric and boomerang because I needed it for a power-up check. Isn't that like Darth Maul from Star Wars? I don't think there was a yellow lightsaber though. Alright, time for the boss. It's this gigantic robot with propeller arms. It's just flinging them around all over the place. Then it started raining down missiles, which I did a horrible job at dodging. Oh, and he's got an eye that sends out a laser across the whole screen. Honestly, this boss is sick. Here comes phase 2. Oh, what the heck? His arms turn into a pair of scissors. And this camera angle's wild. Yeah, I died. I'm about to die again because he grabbed me with his propeller arms. It's a lot harder to kill this thing when you don't have power-ups. The only things to hit it with are the missiles or these rocks that appear when it does the slam with its arms. I died yet again, and this time I got the game over screen. Aw, they're taking a nap together. Okay, on to phase 2 again, and that's kind of a sus missile. Well, Kirby sucks the tip of it, and okay, why am I even writing this? I can't read it with a straight face. After a few rounds of those missiles, the boss flew up in the air and landed. This was the worst camera angle ever. My goodness. Definitely my favorite boss so far though. It felt really rewarding to take it down with no power-up. We see the crew standing in the snow as the crystal shard reveals a rather scary looking world. The fairy is terrified, but we reassure her that we've got this. It's time for the final level, Ripple Star. Well, this place certainly doesn't look how I expected. It's so colorful and vibrant and full of life. The mini-boss here is just a saw. Completely stun-locked it with a double electric power. Kinda weird just killing a random saw, honestly. Alright, the second level is more what I expected. Also, there's that dang witch again. Okay, this is me after writing this. I don't think the witch ever appears again. I don't know what she's for. She just appears. Like, is it an Easter egg? I don't get it. We see all our friends cheering us on here. Waddle Dee is, well, he's pointing down a scary hole. Guess I'll be the one to check. At least King DDD was useful. No way I get past this boulder without him. Well, there is the dynamite power-up, but still. Thanks, buddy. And Adeline is giving us one of those invincibility lollipops. Makes destroying these blocks easier, but I can't get the shard because this stupid power-up check. Needed boomerang. That's better. Nearly done with these things. The level ends with Kirby going up an elevator. A very short level. How did all his friends beat us up here to the picnic area anyway? Next level has these rooms where a bunch of enemies spawn. A gauntlet of mini-bosses, if you will. I really like the look of this stairs room. Turn the lights out and you could have yourself a modern indie horror game here. But yeah, it's just several of these rooms with hallway stairs in between each. Kind of fun, but a bit repetitive. Alright, I intentionally didn't get all the shards so I could show off both endings. This is the final boss of the game. It's like a D20 with holes all over it. You know that one thing where you're afraid of holes appearing on your body or something weird like that? That stuff is freaky. Anyway, this fight's really cool. It uses all the different power-ups against us. Like the electric one sends out all these energy rays, or the ice one has these icy blocks spinning around it. You basically have to use the elements against it. Once you hit it 3 times in a specific form, some of the holes will die and it won't use that power anymore. This keeps going until they're all dead. If you try to hit the base form, it doesn't do anything. Bomb is the most chaotic, and it just so happens to be the final form for me to finish it off. Only took 2 tries, and this D20 thingy was toast. We get a cutscene with the crystal glowing bright, and all the fairies are happy and the darkness in the world is leaving. The evil dark creature flees too, and Ripple Star is back to its old self. Kirby and friends get in some weird ship that I had no idea they owned, and they fly away with a job well done. But in the biggest twist in all of gaming, the princess is corrupted. Ripple Star is not safe after all. Who could have seen this coming? Not me, that's for sure. Well, if this were an any % playthrough, we'd be done here. Coming back now with all the shards and the ending changes. The crystal instead zaps the princess, purging the darkness out of her. The darkness begins engulfing the planet, but then Kirby pulls out a cell phone? Where did he get that? A warp star appears and they head straight for darkness. We're in a brand new area. Looks like Hexagon Heat from Mario Party 2. Of course, the gang's all here. Waddle Dee coming out of nowhere to open the path. Adeline here to give us a very helpful one-up. Heck yeah. And even King DDD to yeet us into the sky. God, I love saying his name. King DDD. Here we are, the true final boss of the game. I've never seen this in my life. Looks like one of those biblically accurate angels. So the gameplay here just wildly changes. It almost behaves like a shoot 'em up. The fairy is on our back, and Kirby looks like he's holding an energy sword from Halo. I wasn't quite sure what to do, but shooting it in the eye seemed to be good. After a while, it became stunned and leaned its head forward. Shooting the Halo caused it to change colors until it turned red and bursted. Then some disgusting green thing came out of the bottom. What's with that green gas, buddy? You eat Taco Bell last night? It felt like this was the right idea, but I wasn't sure what to do next. Maybe shoot that green thing? It would rotate itself to where it wasn't even visible sometimes though. Yeah, this first attempt wasn't it. I don't think I even damaged it. Okay, that's it. Finally, its health bar was dropping a bit. I think the boss is just severely constipated. Maybe this is all a big misunderstanding. Let me clear that up for you. Maybe you won't be so angry. At least I got it like halfway down. Better attempt this time. On my third try, I did it. The clog was cleared up. I think we killed it too. Oops. We see a cutscene with all the fairy people and Kirby celebrating. Kirby and his friends are given crystal shards as medals for their efforts. The fairy even gives him a little smooch on the cheek, and Kirby gets so excited that he falls down the stairs. And the credits roll. However, we're not quite done yet. There's a couple more things. In the main menu, you can view enemy info cards. These are those question mark things I've been collecting in the post-level picnics. It seems there are 81 in total, so yeah, not gonna get all those. Something a bit more interesting is the boss gauntlet. You have to beat every boss in the game back to back, no healing and no power-ups. The damage strats and safety strats are different here. You can only get hit 5 times in total. Like for Wispy Woods, I've got to wait on the apples to come out. Definitely didn't do that before. It's the easiest of the gauntlet by far. Did it damageless my very first try. Next is the worst of the bosses. Not because it's hard or anything like that, but it's just so dang long. You have to do this entire elevator sequence every single attempt before the boss's health bar appears. It takes over a minute. For fighting the boss, just dodge the attacks and swallow the molecule things that appear. Hitting them with the same color deals double damage. I took 2 hits here on my first try. As I did it more and more, I memorized their attacks and it became easy. The whale is next, one of the harder ones. You've got to be able to predict its movement with long-range shots, but also not hit any of the spiky mines it sends out. Not to mention the slam attack where he moves like 4 times faster than you can swim. Gotta predict it and memorize where it goes. I like how the game over screen just says it's hopeless. Maybe I should have listened. The vertical part of the whale isn't hard at all though. It spits more than enough torpedoes, and you can even kill it in one cycle if you're accurate. The blarg can be problematic in phase 1. You have to suck up the embers before it attacks, which means you can't float until you spit it out. If you don't memorize the attacks, it can be a wasted cycle. Still, there's more than enough time to dodge them. For phase 2, the falling rock attack is terrifying. The best bet is to just suck up as many of them as you can and hope for the best. There's enough time to react to it and dodge, but it's scary for sure. Also, the fire breath hitbox is wonky. Still, not too bad once you learn it. I already talked about this robot boss with no power-ups, but man, this missile attack at this camera perspective is horrible. Since every damage taken is permanent, it almost felt like luck to dodge this thing. A huge tripping point for the run. It took nearly 11 minutes to get back to this robot phase 2 again, by the way. This is so long. Alright, made it to the basic final boss with 4 HP left. The boomerang form isn't too bad. You can get it in a looping pattern to where it'll never hit you. The rock form should be easy, but it takes memorizing where it's gonna land first. The bomb form is by far the worst. I think it's just pure RNG where these go, so it's a reaction test. It was near guaranteed to take a hit here. Electric is scary too, although it can be manipulated. So if I just do the same movement every time, I'll never get hit, right? Spike form is completely free. If you get hit here, well, you may be blindfolded. Ice, on the other hand, it's hard to tell where those ice spike things are. I need better depth perception. If you manage to get past all that stuff, yep, you've got to kill this true ending boss still too. I mean, there's no difference here. You couldn't even heal in the original fight. Just this time, you're unlikely to have 6 HP going in. The starting phase isn't too hard to dodge the attacks, but it's certainly hard to hit that dang eye. The longer this lasts, the more likely I am to screw up and get hit. Sometimes the residual explosion effects will clip your hitbox, and that really sucks. And then in the green phase, this fart gas is really unpredictable. It's easy to screw up here. Just like this. Oh my god. Is this even worth doing? What a slog. Aw man, why did this thing live with 1 HP? Are you kidding me? Thankfully, this is not a clip where I blow it at the last second. I did it. It took like 3 hours, but I did it. It shows a screen saying congratulations with Kirby celebrating with his friends. So what do you unlock for beating this mammoth of a task? Well, literally nothing. Except for that congrats screen, I guess. I honestly couldn't believe it. Give me something to make me want to replay the game like a skin or something? I don't know. Ugh, not happy about that one. Okay, we're almost done, I swear. There are a bunch of minigames too. That's why this game's box was able to advertise 4-player multiplayer. This one's kinda fun. You press B to hop 1 space and A to hop 2 spaces. Basically avoid the hazards and go as fast as possible. Then there's Bumper Crop Bump. Just move left or right to collect the falling goodies. Each of these minigames has 4 different difficulties and you have to beat the easier ones to unlock the harder. All these clips are on Intense, the hardest one. I feel like King DDD is the meta in this one. His hitbox is just wider. Okay, finally the best minigame, Checkerboard Chase. You move around this grid and send out a line in the direction you're facing, dropping all the tiles in that line. If a player is standing on a dropped tile, they lose a life. You get 5 lives in total. I think this one would be extremely fun with 4 friends. But yeah, that's about all there is for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it. My journey to beating Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. This one is really fun. I'll start with the negatives. I really wish you could choose to use either the D-pad or joystick. I'm not sure why it forces you into one. It was a bit easier than I would have liked too. I think Kirby games tend to not be that difficult, but compared to the recent Forgotten Land, it was much easier. I'm also really annoyed the gauntlet didn't give me any cool reward. And I think they kind of overdid it with the power-up checks to get shards. Okay, the positives. The music's amazing in this, just a top-tier soundtrack. I think it aged really well graphically, and it runs fine on original hardware. The level themes are so cool, like all of them feel different. There's just never anything similar. There's a huge variety of enemies, and the power-up mixing is awesome. You can beat the entire game and probably not find all the combinations. It's certainly the most memorable aspect of the game to me. The bosses were all very different from each other, and they were really fun to figure out too. Overall, it's a great game, but not a perfect game. I gave Kirby 64 the Crystal Shards an 8.5 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 5 out of 10 for difficulty. If I didn't do the gauntlet, probably like a 2.5 out of 10. Alright, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. We had a randomized marble race to determine which game was next, so here's how that played out. Or skip to the timestamp on screen to skip straight to the game selection. Alright, we're gonna do a random track. MSLA. Wait, isn't this the one we just did? No, we're doing a different one. Vol's Lab. 194 games left on the list. Everybody's here. Hexen. World Driver Championship. Neon Genesis Evangelion. Let's see what it's gonna be. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, the Erlenmeyer flask is being heated to a temperature of 1000 degrees Celsius. Don't mind how glass would probably melt at that temperature. This is a video game, it's not real. And they are off. And I have no idea. Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey 2. That's really all I can tell. V-Rally Edition 99 as well. And who's going to come down out of the curly tubes? Fighting Force 64 currently in the lead. NBA Showtime as well. So many games. Castlevania, 40 Winks, Robot Punkotsu. So many. NFL Blitz. Mario Party's gone. Look at all of them. 007 The World Is Not Enough. They're all gone. And Fighting Force 64 with a commanding lead right now. NBA Showtime in second. Hot Wheels Turbo Racing as well. And Fighting Force 64 currently dominating. I mean, it is... Iggy's Wrecking Balls goes for a big play. I like the strategy there. Nightmare Creatures now on the other side. We have split paths here. Which one is going to prove to be better? Fighting Force 64 just so far ahead. Does stick the landing into the funnel. And Cruising USA's down as well. Fighting Force 64. This is just Fighting Force 64 show. And Banjo-Kazooie is making a play. Banjo-Kazooie is in the lead. There is no way we get another top game. It just can't happen, right? Banjo-Kazooie currently in the lead, bouncing a bit. And Banjo-Kazooie has one final obstacle to get past. Banjo-Kazooie getting held up a bit, and Fighting Force 64 steals the win. Banjo loses at the last second. No way. Alright. Fighting Force 64. It has been decided. But yeah, if you're still here watching, you're awesome. Thank you so much. If you had a good time, consider hitting that like button, or maybe even dropping a subscription. Or hey, maybe even watch another one of these videos that's on screen now. And yeah, see you next time.